With the game-breaking bugs that we saw with the launch of Star Wars Outlaws, we are now having apparently rumors that the reason why Assassin's Creed Shadows is delayed is because of even more game-breaking bugs when it comes to that game. And you can't forget that when Star Wars Outlaws first released, Ubisoft was hoping to bank on the Star Wars IP, introducing a new type of genre into this Star Wars universe with it being an open world title. But clearly that backfired on them. And with this game's failure, it caused their stock price to fall 13.5%, causing Ubisoft to just get that much more closer to their stock being delisted off of the stock exchange. And what's even more crazy is because of that failure, we have seen Ubisoft lowering its financial forecast. Where if you scroll down here, you can see that Ubisoft revised its financial forecast for the second quarter of the current fiscal year of July to September of 2024. Now it expects net bookings to be 350 to 370 million euros instead of 500 million euros. And I think the reason why they're dropping their forecast is A, because obviously Assassin's Creed Shadows is being delayed. We're not seeing a launch at the end of this year. But on top of that, we're seeing the absolutely abysmal or okay sales numbers when it comes to their Star Wars game. Which leads us to this article. And before we get into this article, please don't forget to subscribe, like, or dislike. It doesn't matter. It helps this channel, and I much appreciate it. So there's a rumor of Assassin's Creed Shadows being delayed because that the game was buggy. A new rumor claims that Ubisoft delayed Assassin's Creed Shadows 3 months from its original planned release date in November of 2024 to February of 2025 because the game is buggy. And what's even more funny is that they're releasing this game on Black History Month, and yet you have one of the main characters of Yasuke being a black prominent figure within the game. And I don't want to get into the dilemma of having the rap music being involved in the game and having that sort of racist stereotype when it comes to rappers because of a character being black. I'm not going to get into any of that. But it continues on. Ubisoft announced it was delaying Assassin's Creed Shadows to February 14th, 2025 earlier this week ahead of a trading call updating its financial targets for 2024 to 2025. And I think they're just putting themselves in a deeper hole because you're going to have the next Ghost of Tsushima Yote game coming out next year, and they're going to have to compete with that game. And if I'm putting money on a bet, I'm betting more people are going to be going out there to buy Ghost of Tsushima than this dumpster fire. And if you scroll just a little bit more down from this article, this is where the rumor begins. Again, take it with a grain of salt. Now, a new rumor from Brazilian YouTuber TVPH claims the reason the game was delayed is because it was buggy. I'm sure that may be a big reason as to why, but I think another big reason is that we had Star Wars Outlaws. Sure, it didn't fail miserably when it comes to its sales numbers. Although, for being a Star Wars IP and a new entry, it didn't do what it was supposed to do. And I don't think that another failure on the books of Ubisoft will be a good look for them when it comes to the 2024 year ending date. It continues on. In the above video, he explains using Google Auto Translate function. The problem that is going on inside is a very simple one. The game is buggy, which is something that is traditional to the Assassin's Creed series, right? Especially when they are making this transition and internal technology. Assassin's Creed Unity was very dramatic. Assassin's Creed Origins also had a lot of problems at the time of launch. And Assassin's Creed Shadows also offers a change of internal technology within the game that was most likely cause these bug problems. He continued, so it's not a completely new thing, right? A buggy launch of Assassin's Creed, but there's a very marked difference in the days of Unity, in the days of Origins. Ubisoft was safer. Ubisoft was calm. That is correct because back then you saw this company launching products that continued to succeed. A lot of people were happy with it, even if the game had these bug glitches, whatever into it. It was still fun and it actually made sense at the end of the day. Where we're seeing with modern day Ubisoft not being the case, and you also can't forget that a lot of these new entries that are created by Ubisoft, they tend to go on sale extremely fast. Less than a year, you can already buy these games for 30% plus off. And once again, it's more than likely because of the sales numbers for these games not being where they should be because of Ubisoft's incompetencies with creating bad products. And a lot of people are starting to get sick of it. And I think another key aspect as to why this game was delayed is because of the backlash. The backlash has spread so far and wide that I think it has even blown Ubisoft's mind out the water. You're having the government of Japan going after them. You're having the Japanese citizens going after them that once again perhaps didn't care about Ubisoft one bit or the products that they created or never even heard about them, which would be surprising if that were the case. And they're voicing their opinions of disapproval when it comes to these characters that are in this game and the way they're handling their home environment and trying to set up the setting of past Japan. And the article continues, but in September of 2024, Ubisoft had just launched and seen Star Wars Outlaws flop, which was a game that they expected would completely explode into being one of the biggest titles of the year. And from the looks of it, it sold just okay. It sold like the least a Star Wars game should sell when there is no public interest in it, right? And part of the problem was that the game was completely bugged at launch. Ubisoft even had to apologize to the fans and promised that they are working on urgent fixes for performance problems on all platforms, he added. And this is another aspect as to why a lot of gamers are sick of these big AAA game studios that have felt so comfortable for a long time because of their foundation. They created a foundation that was successful, it's built on success. And as time progresses, they tend to get lazier and lazier, and they release these games at more expensive rates that even tend to cost a lot more money for the studio. And they release it to the public with these game-breaking bugs that the consumer has to pay $60 to $70 for, which makes absolutely no sense. When you are this big of a company, there should be minimum to no game-breaking bugs in your games, but incompetency is through the roof. And again, this is another failure for a Star Wars IP franchise. And at this point, I think this whole Star Wars IP is just cursed at this point. Ever since George Lucas sold it off to Disney, it has gone down the absolute gutter. It continues on. While his inside sources at Ubisoft claim the reason for the delay is due to the game being buggy, financial analyst Valiant Renegade speculates the delay has to do with the company attempting to break even before the end of its fiscal year. And there you go. Even Ubisoft is not confident in making a profit when it comes to Assassin's Creed Shadows. At least that is what he is speculating. And again, if this continues to go on with the way we're seeing it, Ubisoft is more than likely going to go bankrupt, and someone is going to have to come in and scoop up this brand and try to at least be able to rebuild the reputation that has been completely destroyed by this company. And that is all I have for today. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, or dislike, share, comment, and I'll catch you all on the next one. Bye-bye.